Excellent. 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 All seems to be going according to plan. Hello, Bora. Welcome. Bora Vora Aero Club. Aero Club. That sounds cool. Where is that? Okay, looks like both YouTube and Twitch are online. I have this thing with Restream where it says API connection has expired. I'm going to Google that. Restream API connection has expired. Change differences, live stream server. It seems to be working. I mean, everything seems to be working. I don't know. It says both are connected. So no. Ooh, actually I will. Add a bot to a server? Access your username and avatar join service for you. Cool. I don't have a server. Oh, never mind. I'll sort that out later. Okay, well, it's I'll have to sort that out later. Ian, good to see you. Good to see you. Ian, jump on Discord, mate, if you want to. I'm here on Discord if you want to jump on and have a conversation while I'm streaming. So, folks, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. We are going to be doing a flight today from Santa Barbara down to Catalina. We are currently online on VATSIM. We can see. So we're going to be flying from here all the way down to Catalina. And let's just stop this camera now. That's just been a bit strange. Okay. So as you can see, we do have ATC. We have Los Angeles approach or LAX Center. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So, how are we all doing this evening? I cannot wait for the new VATSIM audio codec update. Okay, so folks, small announcement. I'm currently using V4. If I go to here, you can see version 4.4. I've updated Active Sky Next for V4. I've updated the Flight 1 GTN 750 Garmin avionics suite has been updated for 4.4. I can use that now. I've updated PTA, so I've got my shaders working. But for some weird reason, I've got this like, oh, what? Oh. Okay, the pink just disappeared. We had some haze, and it was giving off this weird kind of mild pink color you just saw, and now it's just disappeared. So, well, there we go. So while we're here, let's just grab a chart for both places before we jump into the aircraft. We're going to do a full walk around, and then we're going to do start up by the book, taxi out, takeoff. I'm going to try and keep this professional this evening. So KSBA, and let's go to the taxi chart here. So we have runway 7 and 25, and then we have two shorter ones 3-3 left, 3-3 right, 15 right, and 15 left. That is correct. So the most important thing really at this point is just to get the wind. Wind is 210 at 4 knots. So if we go back to here, 210 at 4 knots, runway 25 is probably going to be the best thing to do really. So it's going to be, I'm currently on the ramp just here where my curve, yeah, there you go. Okay, it's just, so I would taxi across 15 right, 15 left, down Bravo, down Hotel Juliet for 25. So yes. Okay, you may be able to see. No, it's pretty much all gone by now. Except for what looks like a tiny spot or speck there on the glass right there. Whenever I first logged into the sim, I had the default weather. Oh, there's another spot of rain. Oh, just fell off the glass there. I saw. There's another speck there. Oh, there's one actually. There's one actually up here. I had the default weather set up, which was cloudy and rainy, and I had the rain going on the windshield. And while I've been sitting here setting the live stream up, basically the raindrops have all gradually fallen off the windshields there. So let's do a full walk around. Let's go Shift 9. No, that's Shift 8. Okay, so from cabin, pitot tube cover, remove. Let's remove that. Easiest way to do that. Let's just go into pitot cover, remove. Pilot's operating handbook is in the plane. Weight balance. Let's just check that. No, that's not what we want to check. What we want to check is that. Okay, that is more than enough fuel to get to Catalina. This aircraft is simply wonderful to fly. It is, Bora. I do love it. We're going to fly with a lady friend. I'm gonna add. I've never really changed the. Oh, let's just say she's 65K, and she's got some baggage in the back. Okay, that's all we're going to touch. We're not going to do any servicing. We're not going to go into the hangar. Persistent aircraft, you know. It has 170 hours on the clock. They're not all my hours. I think when I first installed the aircraft, it gave me generically like 60 hours or something. Thick pilot today. Thick pilot today. Thank you. Yeah. Or a thick as in heavy pilot today, you mean? 100 kilo, yeah. Right. Ignition switch off. Control wheel lock remove. Battery master switch on. Pitot heat. There we go. Pitot heat is on. Fuel quantity check. We're both good on both sides there. Avionics master switch on. Static pressure alt source valve off. Static air is off. Static annunciator panel test switch. Test. All is flashing and then release. And the others extinguish where the ones that we want will remain. Annunciator panel test, yeah, check that appropriate lights remain on. Yes, that's correct, like so. Fuel selector is on both. Fuel shutoff valve, push to full in, it is pushed. Flaps extend. Extending, 100 Ks, yeah. Well, you see, 100 kilos isn't, I'd say 100 kilos is fairly average if you're a big tool. If you're a tall person, if you've got a bit of muscle and a little bit of fat there as well, you're probably close to 100K. That's not obese or anything. I'd say that's almost average actually for
big boned.
Big boned. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, it's a very well-timed entry to the stream. Thank you for that. It's nice. It's nice actually to have other people come in and be part of my live stream and actually have a voice there to talk to rather than just talking to myself.
Well, there's lots of people there on text. I'm sure
That's true. That's true.
Listening and watching and lurking in the background.
That's it. That's it. Battery master switch. Okay, so avionics master is off. Battery master switch is then off. And then elevator trim set for takeoff. That is by default. Okay, let's go outside the aircraft. And let's test the pitot heat. And yes, it is indeed red, which means that we are good to go. Let's check that the key is good there. Let's take the tie down on the tail off. Those connections look okay. So wiggle the trim tab. It's got a good bit of wiggle there going on. Jiggle, jiggle. Flaps look good. Linkages all look good. Excellent, excellent. Remove that tie down. Remove the chocks on the right hand side. Sump the fuel. Do you know, in real life, the other week actually, I think I was a victim of my first incident of dirty fuel in the fuel tank. And
Really?
two of the 4 cylinders in my car were constantly misfiring. Yeah. I thought it was the spark plugs or the coils or something in the engine, and the mechanic.
Oh, in your vehicle?
Yeah, in my road vehicle.
Not in the sim?
No, not in the sim. No.
Oh, right.
I wish in the sim. I've never seen it myself. And of course, in real life, in your pre-flight check, you are always told check, drain the fuel tanks into that little flask and check to make sure there's no water. And it looks exactly like that on the photo. And I was in Norway and we were filming a pre-flight for the Academy, and they actually showed me what it should look like because they added water into the fuel, and you can see the water. You could see the water above the fuel layer, kind of wobbling around. It was really cool. It looked like one of those mercury lamp things, lava lamps. That's what they're called.
Oh yeah, they're all.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and we are good. We're done. Okay, that's the pre-flight. Excellent. Ooh, no, can get rid of that now. Okay, airplane weight balance has been checked. Park brake is set. Yes. Control wheel lock has been removed. Ignition and avionics are off. Master switch is off. Check fuel quantity. We had checked that. Static pressure outsource valve off. That is checked. And the enunciator panel, we tested that. Fuel selector valve, we set that both. Fuel shutoff valve pushed in. Flaps extended. They were, but let's just do that now. Master switch off. Elevator set for takeoff. Okay, engine start checklist is next. Speaking of cars, I have had to change the spark plugs. Been delaying that for a month now. Yeah, spark plugs. Although the spark plugs these days in the automotive industry are better than they used to be, I've been reliably told that back in the old days, it was every 6 months you had to get them changed or something ridiculous. But these days it's more like once every 2 years. That's not too bad. Okay, so we've done that. The engine start checklist is the next one to have happen. Before we do that, we're going to fill in our flight plan. Well, actually, it's going to be a VFR flight plan, so we don't have too much filling in to do. KSBA 2. Let me just pull up the KAVX. KAVX. And let's give us an hour and a half. An hour and a half is a bit more than I think we need, but let's give it to us anyway. We're gonna have to check the visibility again because I can see we've got some pretty significant haze going on here. Let's just go. Yeah, give us an hour and a half. We're not going to cruise at 21,000 feet. Thank you very much. More like a docile. Let's give ourselves a 5,000 foot. Yeah, 5,000 foot should be fine. VFR south visual. visual off the coast. Da, 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 da. Cruise speed is going to be 110. Generally, that's my cruise speed. All right, flight plan filed. They haven't been replaced for more than 2 years, that's for sure. Yeah, it's not too bad. 4 people on Twitch, for goodness sake. People on Twitch, wow. Wow, you guys are representing this evening. Okay. So. Oh, the controller's gone offline? What? Oh. Okay, it's going to be an offline flight then, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm going to start the engine first then, before turning on avionics. It's generally a good idea. Okay, throttle cracked mixture, idle, park brake set. No, sorry, master switch is on. Yes, beacon on. Let's put that beacon on. Note, skip to step 9 for a warm engine. It's not really a warm engine. I hit cold and dark before I started the stream. So, auxiliary fuel pump. Oh no, sorry, mixture rich until no. Turn on the fuel pump. Mixture rich until stable fuel flow for 3 to 5 seconds. Then set to idle cutoff. So here we go. There we go. Okay, so propeller area clear, ignition switch start, and mixture advance. Okay, so actually we keep. Oh, thank you. Another instance of track IR is running. Indeed, indeed. Why is my track IR is not? Well, I think maybe I need to restart. The old chase plane. So I will chat with you. I'm looking forward to having a chat, Ian. But I think I should probably get into cruise before
absolutely.
I divide my mental powers. So okay. So prop is clear. No one's around. Okay, I'm going to bring up the flaps now, just while. Okay. Ignition start and then mixture advance. Boom! That came to alive straight away. That was great. And then RPM up to about 900 once we've seen the temperatures and pressures are all good. Oil is coming into the green. VAC is green. Yeah. Oil pressure is really the most important thing in the ensuing seconds after startup. If that doesn't start moving, you've got a problem, and you need to turn the aircraft off as soon as possible. Turn the engine off. Okay, so now the aircraft is started. Let me just recenter my. There we go. Let's turn on my avionics. Nav lights is on as required. Let's put the nav lights on. Avionics on, radios on, flaps retract. Yeah, okay, we're good. So we've got the beacon, the nav. Excellent. That's I mean, for me, that's a very smooth startup. So, yay for me. Okay. Right. Okay, shut the window. Shut the window. Ookadook. Let's just take a second look at the weather. So that's still 210 at 4, so that's fine. QNH is 1019. Temperature 18 degrees Celsius. 18 degrees Celsius. And I woke up in Inverness the other day, like 2 days ago actually. Got in the car on my way to work. -6 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's chilly. Down in Bristol here, it's about 13. So
Oh, shut up.
balmy mild weather, but not 18. Could do with a bit of that.
Yeah, we could, couldn't we? Oh dear. Right. Okay. So I've started. Takeoff
And I'll
checklist.
finish.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Okay. Brakes off. Just take another little check around me. And -5 here, Roxon. Oh, you're in Netherlands, Roxon. Is that? Because I can remember that. Are you Netherlands? I think I remember you said you were Netherlands. Yeah. I might have that completely wrong. So apologies. Okay, flaps at 10 degrees. We have a heavy woman on board with all her stuff in her handbag. So, and since there's no one else, I'm quite confident I can taxi across 15 right and 15 left. Nah, okay, I did get it completely wrong. Where is Roxon? Actually, I'm going to take off from the intersection of 15 right. I am on 122.8 on Unicom. And while I'm here, let's go squawk mode Charlie as I'm on a runway of sorts. Okay, taxi light is on. Oh no, it is on now. Let's go landing light as well as we are coming onto the active. The magical land of Transylvania. Right. Excellent. There's Mike. I'm just passing there, and then next right hand will take me on to the active. So KSBA traffic taking off runway 25 southbound VFR for Catalina. There we go. And there is the runway hold line, which is a main feature of my next PPL training series video, which I'm going to be releasing quite soon.
Peter, do you think when they bring out the new codec, when we'll be able to have voice like Unicom? You can just announce
Yes,
it on
yes,
the channel.
yes, you will be able to. Yeah. Have you
Great.
read the full report they did on?
No, I haven't. Only a summary of it.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
posted a summary. I haven't read the full thing.
Let me just pull that up for you, because it's an interesting read.
Don't worry, I can find it. It's on the
Yeah, if you just go
UK website.
vatsum.net and then you go to their blog posts, it's
Oh, yeah.
down a
Okay.
page or two. Oh
Oh,
my
okay.
goodness, that's not as much of a runway length as I thought, but this is a Cessna 172, so we should be okay. Look at those colours though, the shading and everything is really working nice. And I've heard the performance is a little better in 4.4 versus 4.3, but I've not seen any perceptible advantage myself as of yet.
Yeah, I've had 4.4 for a few days now, so I haven't noticed too much.
Oh, okay. Okay, takeoff checklist. Wing flaps are set 10 degrees, mixture is rich. Throttle slowly advanced to full open, lightly lift nose at 55 knots, and climb speed is 70 to 80, and then wing flaps retract. So we're good to go. Let's advance the throttle. Okay, 50 knots. 55, nose coming up, and just putting in some rudder there to keep us straight. And let's hit, let's see, 70 to 80 knots is climb. There's 80. So at 80 I'll bring the flaps up, and you feel the nose drop there because of the reduced lift. And now I'm above 80, I'll pull the nose up again and begin. I'll do a smooth climb at 80 knots, I think. There we go. That's good takeoff. Again, beautiful lighting. Let's just stable climb out at 80 knots. Let's get above this land. Let's go about 2,000 feet to begin with. Yeah, it's a weird color for haze. I wouldn't have said haze is this color, and it's the middle of the day in it's the middle of the afternoon here in on the west coast. So I don't know why we've got a kind of evening time kind of hazy color. I'm not a massive fan of that, to be fair. Maybe it's smog. I don't know. Okay, so that's 1,200 feet. Let's just do a light left-hand rate 1 turn. Let's just keep the ball centered. And we're increasing our speed. Okay, let's head. Yeah, my visibility is not as great as I thought it was. Okay, let's just roll out here onto an even keel. There's Santa Barbara in all its glory. Very beautiful. And I'm getting very, very smooth performance at the moment. And I'm only using a GTX 970 graphics card actually. Okay, there's 2,000 feet and continuing my climb. I'm going to give myself I was going to say 5,000 feet in the cruise, but what with this visibility, I'm not sure. Just doing some trimming, nose forward. I always feel like the Cessna, whenever it's set by default to takeoff trim, the nose always wants to, pull itself up quite aggressively on takeoff. Whoop! Something happened there. Someone did something. What? Oh! I have a follower. Sukant02 is now following. Thank you for the follow, sir. It's very good of you. Yes, hello. I see you in the chat now. Yep, there we go. So I'm flying VFR, and generally in VFR you don't want to use the automated systems too much. So I'm trying to fly manually at the same time as look at the stream chat. So I'm going to pull the throttle back to 75% power, and I'm going to pull the mixture back to 75% as well. And I'm continuing my climb up through 3,000 feet. And just trimming out now ever so slightly. And that should give me a more stable situation. Yeah, oh, Perriott as well. Hello, Perriott. Good to see you. You're in Discord, mate? Are you? No, he's not. Okay. Okay, so from here, I'm pretty much want to head for the gap. I want to head for about 120, heading 120 roughly, and that's me. Now that I've taken off, I'm going to turn the taxi light off. Oh my goodness! You know what I forgot? I forgot the strobe. What an idiot! I knew there was something. The strobe light is not in. The strobe light isn't in the checklists here. So that's probably why I keep forgetting it. That's my excuse. Anyway, en route climb 7285 knots. Throttle is full open. Mixture is rich. Cruise at 2,000 to 2,400 RPM, and elevator trim adjust. So that's correct. That's what I'm doing roughly. Climbing at a nice 500 feet per minute. So yeah, there we go. And I'm going to hopefully make this fully 100% hands-on, no autopilot, no nothing. I'm just trimming and adjusting as I go. Let's try and keep our heading to 120. Actually, that would be a good idea. So 3,500. Yeah, Cessna 172. This is the A2A Cessna 172 for prepared 3D version 4.4.
Peter, I'd stick your little bug on the 120. It might help you. Just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. There we go. Thanks. The camera angle moves with your head. That's cool. Yes, it's called a Track IR 5. You can see this thing on my head. You see I've got one light here, one here, and then one further up. I have like a little thing that looks like a webcam on my screen, and it reads these 3 light points, and that maps my head in 3D virtual space, which means whenever I turn my head around, it replicates that movement in game, so that it's very intuitive. It's very intuitive. So all you have to do is just, so I can move my head left, right, up, down. I can rotate my head like that, and it will actually rotate it. I can lean in and look at gauges. My goodness, look, there we go again. That's me coming off course. There we go.
As he pops his head out the window.
Yeah. Ah! So how are you, Ian?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So you've been on 4.4 for
about
for
3 days.
a couple of days. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
my second or third flight, maybe second, third
I haven't
flight.
done
Yeah.
many flights, but I've just been on it.
Yeah.
I just say once all the add-ons got in, all the add-ons that I use.
Mm.
The GTM was the last one, so as soon as that came, it became available.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I updated, and I said to myself, "Oh, I've updated now, but I'm going to have to wait months for the GTN to be updated. That's a pain." But then I looked, and lo and behold, it was. So there we go.
yeah, I think last time 4.2 to 3, it was a good couple of weeks, if I remember rightly. But this one, they've got it quite quickly, so
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah. Okay, so my problem here, folks, is that I am not in VFR anymore. I popped through a cloud. Yeah. Now I've popped back out from under that cloud bank. I really should have gone under that instead of through that, but I wasn't paying too much attention there. So we'll try not to do that again, because that is very dangerous in a VFR situation. Okay, so we've got this island here, and then we've got a cloud. No, that's not a cloud. That's another island. Is that Catalina? I'm not sure it is, though. It's just, I'm not sure that the colors are being correctly represented here. No, that's not the same island I'm looking for. I'm pretty sure that this maybe it's like an afternoon haze, but I'm not sure that kind of violet color is accurate at all. It should be more of a yellow, not a violet. That makes it look really weird. Unless the Los Angeles smog just kind of has that yellowish tint. I mean, I have been to Los Angeles like once in my life, but yeah.
Wouldn't be out on over the coast though, would it? It would be over the
Yeah.
mainland, I would have thought.
Yeah. I think it's just an active sky next, because I use active sky next with cloud art, and I think also it pumps in some different like sky textures or sky colors as well. Yeah, maybe PTA is the color wrong. This could be PTA as well. Could be a number of things. This is a new, because this isn't the PTA shaders that I normally use. I normally use some shaders, but since I updated to 4.4, I'm using new shaders, and they're the Matt Davis default shaders, and I'm not used to them, so it doesn't really look right to me, I think. So I'm going to keep actually under 4,000 feet, because there's clouds ahead of me. I need to keep under them, and I need to maintain visual with my surroundings here. So how are people doing in the chat? How are we doing, folks? Has it been a good week, guys? Has it been a bad week? How's life been? Oh, a little bit of a freeze there. We're back. Yeah, so this evening, just after coming home, I did a Q400 flight from Sydney to Coffs Harbour. Had a really nice RNAV approach into Coffs Harbour. That was a load of fun. And so that seems to be running very smoothly, very nicely. So yeah. Tomorrow, I've got something happening tomorrow evening. But I should have enough time tomorrow if you wanted to do a shared cockpit, Ian.
No, I'm not going to be able to make it. I don't think.
Okay.
I'm at Bath Rugby tomorrow on working for television.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Won't be finished till.
Yeah. No worries.
6, 7 o'clock, 8 by the time I get back. It might be. I could do later on, depending on what time you're around.
I'm afraid I probably. Hang on a second.
It won't be before 8 o'clock. I can tell you that. By the time I get
Yeah,
back.
I'd say by that time I'd probably be out. So.
Yeah.
PimpNet crew, how are you enjoying 4.4? I've yet to install it. To be fair, and our other streamers have said this, it feels pretty much exactly the same as 4.3. There really is no distinguishing difference yet. And I think this is one of these updates where it introduces revolutionary new texturing methods, which is PBR in this instance. But because none of the developers have gotten on board with that yet, it looks exactly the same as it did before the update. But this, gradually over time, we're going to begin to see some really beautiful visuals coming in and really natural lighting. And I'm really looking forward to it because the lighting, the skybox, the lighting, the lack of accurate shadows and highlights and glints and all of that, basically everything that is the way X-Plane looks in terms of lighting, you can just tell that it's a much better coded, much more accurate simulation of light and how it interacts with the world. And X-Plane 11 really has that nailed so much better than P3D does. But of course, P3D has been evolving this platform based off of FSX, and FSX, is a really old simulation engine that they've tried not to change it too much, because changing it too much would destroy all of the compatibility of the add-ons. And really the strength of P3D, the reason that P3D is still holding its own against X-Plane and other platforms is the very, very strong third-party user base. So, and P3 and Lockheed Martin have been real geniuses to not let go of that third-party developer base and to evolve their platform slowly enough and gradually enough that the add-on developers can keep up. And sometimes it does feel pretty crazy, actually, only having a year, maybe 6 to 8 to 10 months in between incremental P3D updates. Sometimes it does feel like the add-on developers are puffing and panting to constantly keep their add-ons up to date, and you feel like you've only just gotten used to flying an aircraft again, and then it becomes incompatible before the next update sometimes. I'm just going to skirt under this cloud. Got you. Good to know. Thank you. Yeah. It's the only reason I haven't changed. I bought too many add-ons for P3D. Exactly. I'm exactly the same as you, PimpNet. I haven't invested in X-Plane 11. I got X-Plane 10 years ago in a sale. I installed it once, tried to fly it, had problems with the UI, never bothered with it again. X-Plane 11, everyone says how amazing it is, and I am inclined to agree with them. It does really seem amazing. I just haven't gotten around to installing and using it yet. And I really, at this point in my life, I have so little money to throw at things like I used to. sounds like a stupid thing to say, but you know, you should technically be gradually gaining wealth as you go on in life, and your job, you know, hopefully you go up in the world and gradually have more money. And that hasn't happened to me yet. I've actually gone in the reverse, so I actually have less money to throw around now than I used to when I first came out of uni. But getting a bit of turbulence now. Maybe that's the turbulence. Yeah, that's probably the dirty air coming off that island to my right hand side. That's a really amazing how the Active Sky Next wind simulation they've really got that really well. That's one thing I can say about P3D is that the weather and the wind simulation, how it wind flows over, air currents flow over the terrain, and as you fly over the terrain, you can feel yourself being affected by the different air currents. I found this many times actually when flying in P3D, where I'll be flying along off the coast somewhere, and the air will be smooth, and then as I come over, mountain ridges or hills or rougher terrain, you get this feeling where the aircraft all of a sudden starts to not jump around crazy, but you can feel it just starting to move back and forwards with the air currents that are coming off the land. Hello, Christian. Oh, hey. Evening, ladies. Yes. Good to see you. It's been a while. Good to see you on my stream again. I need to stick to 120 on the heading, really. We'll just skim off the coast, and next minute you'll know we'll be raising Sydney. Too bad the ATC disappeared. I was looking forward to a bit of ATC chatter, but and it literally disappeared like 2 seconds before I began. 2 seconds before I filed my flight plan, all the ATC died. But yeah, things are going okay, Christian. It's life is busy. What can I say? But I'm really trying to carve out time, regular time, to do live streams and video editing and stuff. I've got my next PPL training series video. I've rendered it. I've actually sent it out to a good friend of mine who is a current commercial pilot, and I always pass it by him before I make it live, just in case I've said something stupid or I haven't said something in quite the right way. So I actually vet it with a real life commercial pilot before I ever release them live, because I do like my PPL training series videos to be as top notch as I can make them. And he said then this next one that I'm releasing, he said it's great, very well done. There's one or two things that I need to change, one or two aspects I cover about the 172 in the taxiing on the aircraft, on the apron, that I want to tweak, and so I'll probably do those tweaks tomorrow. I'll make some narration tweaks, some visual tweaks. Of course, now we have the 172 with the windshield effects, the rain effects. That's really cool. So that'll make an appearance. And then, so hopefully, all going well, I might actually release the PPL training series video tomorrow, and then get started straight away on the next one. And I want to keep the momentum up with that. I mean, I've dropped that, and I've really it's been stupid that I've let that drop for so long. Yes, Amy started uni last August, went out for 6 months to work experience from February to August, and got to deal with exams next week. My goodness, I'm royally screwed. Christian, my entire educational experience was me going, I have no clue what I'm doing, I will probably die. I never did well in education. Some people do, some people don't, but there we are. PimpNet, I will look through your videos. I'd like an explanation of A2A 172 Autopilot. Well, if you go through my videos, I mean, I've got years worth of videos on the 172, and I do feature the autopilot system. Over the years, I've featured it a fair amount. I can't say I have a clear and concise video of a step-by-step breakdown of the autopilot system yet. But as I continue my PPL training series videos on the 172, I will at some point cover all of the internal controls, every single gauge, every single button, every single switch, what they do, why they do what they do, and how you can use it to best effect in your flying. So I will thoroughly cover the internals at some point in my video series. At the moment, I'm just building on. I'm building my videos step by step, so I don't throw all the technical stuff at you straight away. I'm going to be releasing all the technical jargon that's, bit by bit in each video. Each video is going to be topical, so that, one video will be on taking off, one video will be on taxiing, one video will be on, blah, 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 blah. And it'll be roughly featured, it'll be roughly geared around the way a PPL training happens in real life as well. So we'll go out for adventure flights and cross-country flights and all that kind of thing, like you would if you were training in the real world. And here I am, off course again, while I'm excitedly talking about something else. Perfect, that's okay, I will follow step by step. But then again, I probably have one of the best officers out there. At least one exam I am 100% sure of failing. Hoping to get permission to restart the stream. The class I ended up with is terrible. I'm really looking forward to seeing Catalina Island soon. I don't want to... this is a problem when you're VFR and it's all hazy. Yeah, I'm pointed in the right direction. That's good. This haze though, I guess I know it is winter and the sun is low in the sky for this time of year, but it is literally only it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, California time. That I don't know if the sun should be that low. I mean, we're not that high on the globe, surely. Compared to where I am in life, that's not that. What? No, that's pretty low on the globe compared to what I experience on a day-to-day. Oh, God. Stupid me. Yeah, so I'm not completely happy with this coloring. The violet thing just is not making me feel good about this. Anyway, this is a fantastic working environment. Okay, what is that? I can't click. Well, actually, I can kind of click on that if let's just open that. Oh, Maersk. Ah. Oh, dude. That's all right. My goodness, wait, hang on a second. That's sweet. Are you on board that right now, man? Studying to become a navigational officer. Wow. Are you on board that right now? Where are you currently berthed in the world? I mean, that looks nice. You look like you're... Is that... What canal is that? I have no clue. It does look pretty sweet, though. It must be nice and hot outside.
Is this big ship sim or the real thing?
No, it's just on Twitch. Christian has linked.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture.
Oh, okay.
I'm viewing it now, yeah. It's good, isn't it?
That ship is 400 meters long, 56 meters wide, and weighs about 173,000 tons. My goodness. That's a big baby. That's the Suez Canal. Now signed off in August. Oh, okay. So you were on it in August, going through the Suez Canal, but now you are doing a navigation exam. So this is very interesting to me, Christian, because I'm trying to learn the very basic, bare bones of astronavigation as it was done in the 1940s and 50s for aircraft. And it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And at some point I will bring out a whole video on it and bore you all to death with it. What do you learn in a navigational course? What do they teach you? I'm interested in this. What do they teach you in the modern day in naval, merchant navy, if I guess you could call it. Hello, Matty. Hello, good to see you, man. Let's just update the. Okay, there we go. Oh, wait, what was that? Oh, failed to create model VRD 1955 using model blah blah blah. The model may be corrupt or missing. VPilot will try to create the aircraft with a different model. Okay, this is interesting. I'm going to see what VPilot says and does about this. I've been keeping it low because of the haze, and I can just see the coast over to my left. And there's something off to my right-hand side. I'm pretty sure that's not Catalina. Catalina is directly ahead of me, thankfully. I'm going to climb. I'm just going to pop the throttle in, and I'm going to climb a couple of thousand feet because I've come down gradually to about 2,000 feet, and I want to be a little bit higher here. Matty, do you remember I asked you about the flight model with C172? Thanks for that. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah, A2A have done a very good job with the 172. They do a really good job with all their GA aircraft. The only thing that really is lacking from A2A is shared cockpit. Can you imagine, Ian, doing shared cockpit in any A2A aircraft? That would be amazing. I think he's AFK for a minute. So it is pretty highly automated. We basically steer the ships on autopilot with what would equal the heading hold and then the main engine telegraph. Okay. Yeah, so it's basically heading hold and thrust, and that's it. But of course heavily dependent on your GPS location and all of your chart data and all of that stuff. So please correct me if I'm wrong. That sounds pretty basic. I'm used to navigation, vertically as well as horizontally in aircraft in a three-dimensional space. And I'm sure there's a huge amount of subtlety to navigation, even in a day and age with GPS. You've got a lot to learn, and I'm sure in a course like that you've got to learn all of the more traditional stuff because you've got to have the backup knowledge. Yeah, we have 2 GPS units on board and 2 gyro. Sailing those ships is really darn easy. It's the rules of the way that is a pain in the ass. Yeah, the rules rules of the road. Yeah. Getting from A to B isn't the issue. It's all of the rules about how you conduct yourself at sea as a large ship. I'm sure. Still very cool though. Very cool. Yeah, so at some point, I'm going to be doing I'm going to do a full transatlantic flight in the Connie or the 377, and I'm going to be doing the whole thing using stellar navigation. with a bubble sextant. I'm going to do the whole thing on that. No plan G, no GPS, none of that. We spend a load of time practicing paper chart plotting and all that. Chances are that I will never see a paper chart on a container ship at any time. They don't have them out there. Yeah, I suppose it's all touch screens and what have you. Yeah. But still, good to know. It's always really important. And the thing is like once you learn that stuff, you can apply that to other things. Like, the thing I love about simulation, aviation simulation, is you learn so much without knowing it. You learn so much about navigation, geography, just everything, and you're learning all of that unconsciously. You don't really have to think about it at the time. And then a couple of years later, you look back and you're like, wow, actually, I know a lot compared to when I first started. I remember when I had the iFly 737, and I struggled to understand waypoints and airways and trying to make the FMC work. My goodness, it just felt so complicated. Like, you know? And today, like, I fire up the PMDG 737, I whack stuff into the FMC like it's nobody's business. Like, I could do the whole thing with my eyes closed. Of course, like, if I talk to my friend who's an actual CPL commercial pilot in the 737, you know, he knows it in a way that I will never know it, you know, obviously, because he does it in real life. But still, like, the amount of things you can learn in a simulator, and have fun while doing it is amazing. Things you never ever would have even been exposed to. If I had never been bitten by the simulation bug, there's so much that I wouldn't have known. And it's interesting because, you know, I first was bitten by the combat simulation bug in IL-2 1946. I was flying Spitfires, Hurricanes, BF-109s, all of that, you know, World War II dogfighting. You know, I did all of that, and that was my first experience of aviation simulation. And then my simulation flying kind of waned for a year or two, and then I started getting interested in civilian aviation. And oh my goodness, that was back in what, 2013, 2012, 2013, and there was a YouTuber that made, I can't remember his name anymore. I can't remember his name, but he made good YouTube videos. He's not on YouTube anymore. I don't think you can even see his YouTube videos anymore. But he made these really nice videos where he would take an aircraft and he would fly it from A to B, and he would do a little bit of narration about the airport that he was taking off from and the airport he was landing. He didn't go into the aircraft systems. He didn't go into anything deep. He just gave you this little experiential video of flying this kind of aircraft from A to B, and a few pointers as to what it's like and how to fly the aircraft. You know, really light stuff, really casual stuff, and they were really nicely done videos. And it really helped me in the early days to like learn about the different add-ons there were for flight sim. You know, well, there's this developer called Captain Sim, and you know, and I gradually started to learn these things. And I bought FSX, and I had FSX Service Pack 3 installed, and then I started getting, I got the Flight 1 737. That was I can't remember what it was called now, but I mentioned it earlier on. But yeah, I got the 737, and I was grappling with the FMC, and then I got the Aerosoft 320 series, the Airbus Professional, back for FSX, and started to kind of grapple with airliners. At the same time as I joined Kicks VFR Club, I started to learn GA flying, VFR flying in the Cessnas with the Kix VFR, and that just blew my mind, and that just really took my mind away at that point. I just really got stuck into small aircraft flying on VATSIM and learning how VFR works and IFR, and and navigation, learning all of that. That was a load of fun. And there is Catalina ahead. Perriot, Peter, what kind of mod do you use for radio boats in the Connie? Ah, yes, that you're thinking of the radio ships. What were they called? Was it the radio ship add-on or something? It's the beacon ships. That's it. The beacon ship add-on for the Connie and the A2A C172 Stratocruiser. It's a downloadable mod, and you can download it, and it appears on your navigation gauge. So if you go Shift 5 in the Connie or the 377, it would be part of like this gauge, and that would basically show you your beacon ships across the Atlantic, and they would use that in the 40s and 50s. But if they didn't have access to those beacon ships, if those beacon ships had to go off station for any reason, or if they got sunk by U-boats, the crews would default to stellar navigation, dead reckoning and stellar navigation. Yeah, I'd love to learn to use the sextant, but it's not a legal way of navigation on its own anymore. It's a sort of a spare time, as if that we have that out there, exercise thing. Yeah. I mean, you'd be crazy, and I mean, and I've been learning, bubble sextant navigation, stellar navigation is not accurate by any modern understanding of the word accurate. It's like accurate for bubble sextant stellar navigation is like within 10 nautical miles. If you got a reading and you're able to approximate your position to within 10 nautical miles, they'd say, oh yeah, that's a fair reading. Thanks for that. Yep. Now I know where I am. that was, but of course, that was for crossing large bodies of water. That was for crossing the Atlantic. So if you're crossing the Atlantic and you know your position within 10 nautical miles, that's fair enough. Like that's all you need. And then as soon as you do hit land, then you can pick up land-based VOR navigation, or ADF, or LORAN navigation, or something like that. You can pick up the radio beacons on the land, and then you have more accurate navigation. So, I mean, that's all you needed back then. So we have a 3-story high simulator at my uni, separated engine room and bridge that can be linked to work together. Once in a while, we do 24-hour trips on it, where everybody who has been out sailing for the first 6 months can take part. Great fun and a real fantastic way to learn from the other students further on in the course. That's really cool. That's like full cockpit, full realism simulator. That's really cool. Discord dropped out for some reason. Okay, I still see you. Oh, it does say it's disconnected. General. Oh, maybe that was me. Let me disconnect and reconnect here. That's weird. Let's just turn. Let me just restart Discord. I'm sorry about that. I did know you had connection issues there. We're raising Catalina Island here, and I'm going to now. Last time on stream, when I last streamed and I last on a live stream came close to Catalina Island, the visibility was so bad I couldn't land. I diverted back to LA in the T6, and I would like to try and land today. I think our I can see a cloud bank there in the distance, and I'm really hoping that we're okay, that we will be able to land. We should be able to land. I think we should be able to. It should be fine. The way I got my head around manually steering a ship like that was in the middle of the Pacific, where an officer I was on watch with turned off the automatics and put me at the wheel. Then he started giving me rudder commands and all that. Really intimidating to start with, but it's really easy when you figure out how long time it takes for the rudder to react. Yeah, I mean, you've got you've got a huge amount of input lag between you making a course correction and the hull that's going through the water actually responds to that change. And those things are ridiculous. Like whenever you want to slow down to stop, it takes you like 15 miles to stop because you have so much inertia that when you make the decision to stop, you have to like start slowing down 15 miles beforehand, which is ridiculous. I wouldn't be able to get my head around that. It sounds ridiculous. Let's see if Discord is taking a while to open. So the airfield at Catalina is higher. It's high off the sea level. So we have to be mindful of that. Yeah, from full speed to zero. From full speed to zero with full reverse took us about 6 nautical miles. Okay, that's actually not as bad as I thought. Okay. Maybe it's just other tankers I've heard of take further to stop. Maybe is that when you're fully loaded, Kristen, or is that when you're empty? Because I'm sure that has a huge effect on things as well. Is Discord opened? Yes. Okay. Am I back, Ian?
Hello.
Ah, there we go. Okay, I must have. It must have just dropped out for some reason. I was weird.
Yeah, I was in your general tab.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
But you weren't. So your end disappeared for some reason.
That's weird. Okay. It doesn't usually do that. So.
No.
Yeah.
No. No. It's computers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Flight sim, isn't it? All this stuff.
Yeah. One thing in the recent update when A2A updated the 172 with the windshield effects, I remember reading they also smoothed out the paneling on the front of the cockpit panel here. And I can actually tell, based on flying this for so long, I can actually tell when I look at the curve of that panel, it's a much smoother curve. They've actually smoothed out the geometry there of the front of the panel.
Attention to detail, eh?
Well, you see, I first in FSX I flew the default Cessna 172, and it doesn't have a gradually curved front panel there. You know, the curves on either side are quite abrupt, and then the front panel is very very flat all the way along. But this one has more of a gradual kind of concave. It's like a concave curve to it. You can see as the sun is actually... Yeah, you can tell now that in the sim, as the sun gets a little bit lower, 2:30 in the afternoon now, it does look like it's coming into evening time. But still, I think that's a bit too on the violet side for my taste.
It looks like sunset, shouldn't it be?
Yeah.
7 o'clock or something,
not
sun up like that high.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it shouldn't look that pink with the sun that high. Yeah.
No.
But you never know. What with the haze, it probably thinks, oh, this is what it must look like. So Christian says, so yeah, it would probably take at least twice as long fully laden. Yeah. This was my first ship where I went in for a 10-year repair in a dock in northern China. It gives a completely different impression of how big these things actually are. Where we went in for a 10-year repair. Did you personally go in, like, you mean the ship went in for a 10-year repair, not... You don't mean that the actual ship was in the dry dock for 10 years. You mean that every 10 years the ship has to go in for a dry dock repair or maintenance. Those photos are so cool. That is such a huge ship, yeah. You can really tell the size of that. Look at that. Really cool. Huge. Okay, as I come over the terrain here to Catalina and fly down the coast, we'll probably get some updraft. The wind will probably catch us and give us an updraft and a bit of buffet as we go over this terrain. I'm going to double check the the wind and the speed of the wind here for Catalina is 340 at 5 knots, which means we need to be landing we need to be coming in having a southerly approach, which actually means we're going to be catching the runway elevation. We're actually going to be landing downhill because this is a sloped runway. So that's going to be fun. Yeah. Hashtag YOLO. The cost of that docking was around 160 million US dollars. My goodness. Every 5 years the ships have to go in for repairs. Wow. $160 million repair.
Bill.
Wow.
Just think what they must be making, though.
Oh, wow. What they must be making.
Per trip.
Yeah, how much they make per trip. Do you know how much they make per trip, Christian? Look at the sunlight off the terrain, though. That does look cool. Oh, I look forward one day to get a GTX 1080. I can fly around
they are nice. They are
England.
Nice. I've got a TI Founders Edition. And,
oh, nice.
Over on some of these things.
Yeah.
It hardly reaches about 40%.
Wow.
Even with everything on, you know.
Even on max.
Even on the max settings, yeah.
Wow.
It's the CPU. It's the CPU that 100%'s out.
Yeah.
Even though I've got clocked at 5.2 gig at the moment.
Wow.
And only because I've got the water cooling.
Yeah.
And that's quite hot sometimes.
Mm.
But that's 100% when everything's on. But the GPU is only like 40%. So you say it's a 1080 is a good it's a good card.
Yeah.
But
not fully utilized for something like this.
You won't still push it because it's still graphics heavy.
Because that's interesting. Because for me, at the moment, my current setup is where my CPU. I'll actually pull it up on screen for you now, so you can see performance. So my CPU at the moment is just kind of cruising. It's really not doing too much. But actually, if you go and look at my GPU is normally right up there.
Mm-hmm.
So my GPU is actually laboring far more than my CPU at this point. And sometimes, if I'm flying around anywhere in Europe with a large airport with a lot of scenery and a PMGG aircraft, my GPU is like 99% constantly. And my CPU never really varies from that.
Interesting.
Which interests me.
Yeah. It is. It's
which
the other way around.
Yeah.
It's as though it's not using all the cores or something.
Yeah. Or it's just so gradual. It's so spread out across the cores. Well, actually, if I open each, I think you can actually display each individual core here. Well, you can go and see. Yeah. You see CPU 30% on the CPU. GPU 70%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So if you go to like performance, I think if I double click, no. I think you can go to a place where you can open up and it will show you each individual core. Anyway, I've got to come to land here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fly over the airfield first just to gauge it. Because it is quite high here. So I'm going to turn parallel to the runway. And I'm going to fly over and see if I can have a look at the windsock as I fly over this. I'm going to do this is like a yeah.
Yeah, that's something in 4.4 they've meant to have sorted out now, isn't it? The windsock.
Oh, really?
Moves. Yeah, I believe so.
Because I know some airport developers, not all of them I think, but most ORBX stuff and most good airport developers have dynamic windsocks, or have had them in 4.3 at least, as far to my knowledge. But maybe they've just incorporated that as a norm now. Okay.
Made it available to everyone to use.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see the runway elevation is. Can't really see a windsock at the moment, but oh, there's actually a wind dial on the airfield. I forgot about this, and I've just overflown it. I can't see it. Oh no, it's just down there. Yep, I can see. You can see the wind direction is to the yeah. Yeah. You can see the wind direction there. So when I turn to the right here, I've got a tailwind. When I turn a 90 degrees to the right, I'll have a tailwind. Okay. So landing from the south is going to be the correct option, but it just means I'm going to be landing on a downhill incline, which is not something I'm looking forward to. Gonna have to come in nice and slow, full flaps for this.
With this one, you can pop it down at 50 miles an hour and
yeah, with a 172,
quite easily, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So, landing checklist: airspeed 65 to 75 knots with flaps up. Wing flaps as desired. I'm going to go with full flaps, so below 85 knots. Airspeed with flaps down 60 to 70. Touchdown with main wheels, and then gently. Blah blah blah. Okay. I will read chat whenever I'm. This is going to be a totally visual. There's the runway. There's the runway there, so I'm good to do a short base. Okay, 30-degree bank. Let's not lose our altitude because the airfield elevation is quite high still, you remember? And pull it round. And there's the end of the runway there. Yeah, let's just get my landing light on. Oh my, well, pop the taxi on. Okay, throttle back. And let's start thinking about flaps before we actually get there. That would be a good idea. Let's do some trimming. Okay, just about on final there. Speed coming back nicely. Altimeter is set correctly, and there is our upper limit of our flap 1 speed. Pop the first notch in as we bleed the speed off. Second notch in. Third notch in. Actually, yeah. Okay, speed coming back in, and that's flaps full. Trim again, just so we... Trim is your friend. Never ever underestimate trim and how helpful it can be. An untrimmed aircraft is always a potential issue, especially when you're flying VFR. Okay. Over the threshold, cut the throttle. A little bit of rudder. Touchdown with the windward wheel first. And brakes. Remember to keep your ailerons into the wind. Not that we have too much of a crosswind, but everything helps. And flaps coming up. Braking nicely. Let's turn the landing light off and strobe off as we depart the active. We'll just depart to the right. That was really nice. It's really nice. I was toying with the idea of a go around, but I think that's as much as I can do this evening. Okay, just check left and right, and yeah, I mean weather-wise on the west coast, weather is generally pretty good on the west coast, which means I usually get fairly good frame rates on the west coast because I don't have too many clouds to have to render, you know. Let's go over here. Just swing the aircraft around, like so. Okay. So, parking brake on. Let's turn the avionics off. There we go. Avionics are off. And nav lights off. Taxi light. Let's keep beacon on until we actually take that off. Oh, no. Okay, so mixture, idle cutoff. Let the engine die, and as the propeller comes to a stop, only when the propeller is fully immobile do you turn the ignition off and then pull the throttle completely out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how it's done, as far as I can tell. Let's take the beacon off now that we've stopped, and we can now take the engine master off. Pause track IR, and there we go. And that Cessna 172 looks beautiful. I always love the way the 172 looks. It just looks beautiful. And empty plane. That's a screenshot right there. So I'll just read chat in a minute. I'll just get this screenshot for the YouTube thumbnail. Oh, that's a good shot. With the American flag. Just hanging up there. Let's put the tie downs. Okay, guys. All right, everyone in the chat, I want you to say cheese. There we go. Let's just open that up. Okay, let's just see what happened in chat. No idea. Fully laden, triple E ship can probably carry a couple of $1 billion in cargo. Wow. But yeah, I got myself a beast of a computer after I got home, running an i7 86K at 5.2 gigahertz, Strix 1080 Ti. Wow, that's a beast. Mine is an i7 4790K. Let me just see if I can go to my system. So Intel Core i7 4790K at 4 gigahertz. It's overclocked, I think, to 4.5 gigahertz, 16 gig of RAM. And then of course I've got a liquid cooled for the CPU, and then I've got a GTX 970. So I'm hoping to save up for the 1080, as that would be nice. But there you go. That was a beautiful shot. Catalina Island. Actually, I'm gonna take this shot as well, because that's a nice shot as well. There we go. I've got two choices there. Okay, folks, thank you very much for joining. Great stream. Thank you, PimpNet crew, for joining. Cheese is good, Christian. Cheese is good.
Yeah, we'll catch you again, Peter.
Yeah, thank you for joining, Ian. It's been good to chat and have a bit of company on stream, because of course we didn't have ATC.
We talked about.
Indeed, yes, we will. I look forward to that. I had a really good time.
I left you the other day, I did about 10 circuits at Southampton.
Yeah, good.
Seven I was pleased with. Two were short, and one I crashed.
Oh well, you've got to have a crash.
I have an excuse. I ran out of fuel.
Oh well, that's completely fine. That's completely fine. Yeah. You're supposed to do that with a dash. You're supposed to do that with a dash.
200 feet to go. Engine stopped, and you know what happens when that happens.
Well.
Sink. So I was reasonably pleased with it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Next time we got some time, we'll do a proper flight then.
Yeah. I had a fantastic shared cockpit in the dash, WestJet with Pilot Sev, I think it was.
Oh, right.
Was it Pilot Sev? Let me see. It's Discord. Yeah, it was Pilot Sev. That's right. Yeah, that's saved on the YouTube channel, so you could see that if you like. And there's a guy. If you look in Discord, there's a guy called STG Mod who's currently online at the moment. He is a real life Dash 8 pilot in on the West Coast, up in Canada, like Vancouver area. So that's going to be really fun. I'm going to do some shared cockpit with him as well. So.
Oh, you learned something there.
Doing shared cockpit with a real Dash pilot, that would be amazing. I'm really looking
yeah.
forward to that. Yeah. Cool.
Rather
Well,
than
yeah.
us bumbling along.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm gonna have to go get another cup of tea because my throat's pretty dead at this point. But thank you very much for joining me, Ian, and everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining as well. We had a really nice little relaxed VFR. In the 172, and next time hopefully I'll do so in rainy conditions so we can see the windshield effects, as I know a lot of people are really enjoying the windshield effects in the new updates for the A2A aircraft. So yeah. Okie doke, guys, I will see you all later. I'll just turn the stream off now, and yeah.